Did I ever tell you the story about how I manifested my husband? Okay, I'm going to tell it to you and I'm going to tell you exactly what I did and then the magic that I think really made this happen. Hey, I'm Michaela Pabone. I am your 49-year-old homegirl, and I share a lot of different things on this channel. I share stories about my life, I share encouragement and inspiration, and also some fashion. So if that sounds interesting, keep watching. This story is about how I manifested my husband in little less than a month. And my best friend actually did the same thing, and she was engaged in 6 weeks after doing this. Um, yeah, so let me just tell you the story. I can't remember what exactly I was watching, but this was back in 2009. And I saw this video of this woman talking about how she had manifested like several different men in her life and lots of engagements. She never went through with them, but she manifested engagements. And I'm like, that's interesting. And what she said was to write a letter as if you're writing it to your best friend or you're writing it to your mom, and you are explaining your new man. You're telling her all about him and all of his amazing attributes, like really describing this person. And when you write this letter, you don't want to include anything negative. You don't want to say, oh, he isn't, I don't know. You don't want to include anything negative. Like, he doesn't make me laugh as much as I want, or, like nothing at all that you would deem as a negative attribute. So you only want to talk about the positive things and the things that you love about this man, right? So I wrote things that were specific to me and that I wanted. Like, I have a big family and I want somebody who can get along with my big family, who understands the dynamics of having lots of siblings. I wanted someone who possibly had a child already because I didn't think I could have them. I know I was like 33 and I'm like, by the time by the time we date and get married, I'm probably not gonna be able to have kids anyway. So, it's better if he already has them. That's kind of my idea. Um, I wanted someone who loved their career, who was creative, who dressed well, who was handsome. Just a lot of things. And I didn't say this is what I want. I said this is who he is. And I wrote all of that, like I said, like he was sitting right next to me and I was describing him to my best friend. Right. So I wrote this letter. I read it again and I read it to her. I read it to myself. She read her letter to me and she read it to herself. And then we just kind of put them away. And the magic of that is that you have to expect that you're going to get it. So it's not like, I'm going to write this letter and oh my gosh, I hope I meet him. I hope. Because when there's that separation of hoping and having, then that means that you feel that there's a separation and you're probably not likely to get it. So there had to be this belief, the strong belief that this man that I was describing was on his way to me somehow. I don't know the how. That's not my business to think about the how, but somehow, some way, I was going to meet this man. And same for her. So I met my current husband. This was like mid to late November that we sat down and wrote these letters. The next month in December, my friend was having her 30th birthday party. And we initially were like, you know what, let's go to Atlantic City. We'll just get a nice hotel room and we'll just order room service and like just have fun. Go to the spa and just have a good time. And then at the last minute, like maybe 2 days before, she was like, you know what, I don't think I want to go there. Let's just stay in the city. We'll go to this party because another friend of ours was like on the group of people that were like hosting this party. So I was like, let's just go to this party. We'll get a table and get some, get a bottle and we'll just do that. Because I think she wanted to spend her birthday with her new boyfriend. I'm like, cool, girl, that's fine. Let's do that. I was a third wheel, but I didn't mind because I knew that there would be a lot of people at this party that I knew, so I could, mix and mingle and, whatever. So we get to the party, and sure enough, we got a table. We had a bottle of vodka. I can't remember what kind. Maybe it was Kettle. And I'm doing my thing. We had some drinks. They're hanging out together. I'm walking around. I'm dancing. I'm seeing my friends. I'm like, being my little social butterfly self. And eventually, I just got thirsty. I needed some water because I felt a little tipsy. So I'm like, let me just drink some water, right? So I go to the bar, and as I get to the bar, I literally tripped over my own feet, or maybe something on the floor, tripped and fell into this man's arms. And I know this sounds ridiculous, like a freaking fairy tale, but I swear this is exactly how it happened. I literally tripped and fell into this man's arms. I'm like, whoa, sorry. And he was like, oh, it's okay. And he put his hand on my back, and I had on this dress where the back was completely out. And so he goes, no. And so I tell him, I'm like, I felt his hand on my back. I'm like, my back is sweaty. I've been dancing. And he was like, oh, I don't mind. Do you? Sir. Actually, I don't. So that was kind of the start of our conversation, right? So we're talking, and we find out that his best friend that he was at the party with lived on the next block over, like the same street, but the next block over. And I think that was like the main thing we found in common at that time. So we exchanged numbers. We had some cute little flirting banter back and forth. And that was that. So I actually met two other guys that night too and got their numbers. But he was the one that I was waiting on his call. And then so this was like mid-December, right? So my best friend, no, this was, early December, like December 10th, we were at that party. And I remember that because my friend's birthday is on the 11th, and we went to the party the night before. Anyway, so my best friend, she met her man like around the same time. And she was very specific in her letter, to the point of like, I want somebody that can fix things around the house, that can help me, if anything is happening in my apartment, somebody that can help me put it together, help me fix things, help me do this, do that, right? So she ended up meeting the super in her apartment building. And they like had this super fast whirlwind romance and fell in love and got married literally like 6 weeks after they met. They're no longer together, but I think maybe that has to do with like not being super specific about other qualities that maybe she wanted in her man. But the fact that she wrote these very specific things, and then he was the super that literally fixed everything in everybody's apartment, and this was the guy that she met, like it was really wild. And so back to my my husband, like I said, I wanted somebody who understood big family dynamics, who got along with my family, who was kind, who was creative, who loved his career, like all these things, right? Come to find out, this man has a huge family. So I have 5 older brothers. He had 4 older brothers and an older sister. He was the youngest out of those 6. I was the youngest out of the 6. He also has a younger brother, so that was a little difference. But the fact that like that one little thing that I put in there, I was like, oh, wait a minute. And I didn't really even think about it when he was telling me all this stuff, like we were having conversations. I didn't think about it immediately because honestly, I had forgotten. Like it had been a couple of weeks, and I just put into my mind that, okay, this is my man, it's going to happen, and that's it. Like I've already described him. He's on his way to me. When I meet him, I meet him. I'm not like stressing about this anymore. So not that I was stressing, but so I didn't even think about it until much, much, much later. Um, and so actually we ended up, this was in December, we ended up breaking up that following August. So like August of 2010, like right before my birthday. And I was like, wait a minute. This is supposed to be my husband. Like how did we break up? Like this doesn't make any sense to me, right? Because it didn't compute, because I'm like, this is who I asked for. This is who I wrote in my letter. Like God brought him to me. I fell into his arms. Like this isn't supposed to be how it goes. Um, so for a long time I was kind of in denial. Like that's my man. Like how is he over there? And so then I just got into this mode of like, well, you know what? That's my husband. He will come back to me. God will bring him back when he's ready to come back. Like he was having some issues with his ex-wife and just didn't feel like it was the best time for him to get into another serious relationship, which I understood, but I was still like, oh, come on. But so what ended up happening was, this was August of 2010, we broke up. And then we talked like occasionally through that time. I had witnessed a shooting in October of that year. And he was like, I don't know why, but the only person I thought of to call. So I called him and he stayed on the phone with me, like let me cry. He read some scriptures to me. He prayed with me, like really being that solid person that he still is today. And I was just like, wow, that's crazy. Like we're not even together and he's still like supporting me in this way. And then that April, he just started being more communicative. And I'm just like, that's interesting. Now, before this happened in April, I was like, you know what? Maybe I just need to be more specific. I'm going to write another letter to my friend and I'm going to explain, like, okay, these are more specifics that I want in this man. Let me be a little bit more specific this time. So I did that. And I can't remember when I did that. I was after I came back, so maybe around March. Around April of 2011, he started being more communicative. We started texting more. He started calling more, asking to take me out. And I'm just like, wait a minute, what is happening here? And so then by May, we were seeing each other all the time again, like always in each other's space, always like spending time together, always. And that got to the point where by June, he was like leaving some stuff at my house. And then he moved in by, like summertime, July, August. And then we got a new place that following year when my lease was up. And so when we got that new place, the funny thing is he found the letter that I wrote, the second letter, because I had put it under my mattress and I completely forgot it was there. Because we were moving into a new place, we had to move all our furniture. And when he moved the mattress, he saw the letter and he read it. And he asked me later when we got into the place, he's like, was that about me? And I'm like, yes and no. Like, I didn't know it was going to be you, but I was just manifesting. And it turned out to be you a second time. Like that was the second letter that I wrote and the second time that you came back into my life. Or came into my life. So that's how I did it, girl. Like I, wrote the letter from a place of he's already here. This love already exists. We are already together. And then 2, I believed it. I believed it like wholeheartedly. I was like, all right, my work is done. And now my man is on his way to me. And I did not waver in that. I didn't fear that it wouldn't happen. And I think that's one of the magical little pieces that people forget about sometimes. It's not really about, making the wish and, oh, this is what I want and this is what I dream. But 1, you got to take the steps to get there. But 2, you also just have to believe that it's possible for you. And I say that because there are parts of my life where I'm not able to manifest. Like this apartment we live in, I manifested this too. Like we had been looking for over a year to find a new apartment, and I could not find anything. The one that we really liked, that we were almost going to get, the owner decided to sell instead of rent, so we couldn't get that. And I just felt defeated. Like, man, we really need a new place. It was right after COVID, 2 kids, a big old dog, and it just wasn't enough space. And so we needed a bigger space. The kids needed their own rooms. They were getting older. And it's just like, okay, well, I'm stressed. I don't know what to do. So I just decided, you know what, let me just manifest this. So I remember specifically the street we were on. My husband was driving. I'm in the passenger seat. And I remember the street we were driving down and everything. And I just closed my eyes and I imagined myself sitting on the steps because I wanted a place that had, it was like a duplex or triplex, whatever. And I imagined myself sitting on the steps in an empty apartment, and the kids were running around, like chasing each other, laughing, whatever. And I visualized that, and I felt the gratitude of being able to say, this is ours. Like, this is where we live. This is our new home. I felt that gratitude so deeply that I felt a tear come down my face. And after that, I was like, okay, it's done. This was October 2021. And I was like, all right, it's done. Done. Like, we don't have to, I'm not stressing myself looking at it anymore. I'm not going to look at the site every week, every day rather. It's done. And I believed that. I truly believed it because I sat in it, I felt it, and I believed it. And literally a month and a half later, this apartment showed up on the listing. I reached out to the guy. We came to see the space, and when I tell you, it was the same realtor from that very first apartment we saw as a family a year, almost to the day. We went to go see another apartment a year ago in 2020, like November 2020, and it was the same realtor. And I didn't realize it until getting back home and then seeing the name on the email and looking at the email from the other place and being like, oh my gosh, it's the same person. By this was Thanksgiving weekend. By early December, we had signed the lease and we had moved in February. And I think it's really that belief that whatever you're manifesting is already yours. And while I was able to do that with my husband, I was able to do that with this apartment. I was even able to do that with moving to Hawaii when I was in my 20s, which I'll share that video as well. But I was kind of like able to manifest these things that I felt like were possible for me. Whereas there are some things that I'm still not able to manifest for myself. There's a separation between me and the thing, and I need to figure out how to collapse that so that it feels more real and more tangible. That was a lot. I didn't expect to be talking that long about how I met my husband, how I manifested my husband, but I hope this was helpful. I hope you write your letters if you haven't met the man of your dreams yet, and let me know if it works. If you're looking for your apartment, if you want to manifest your dream job, whatever it is. You know what? I'm going to try writing it down again in the same way and have that same belief for the things that I want in my career. I'm going to try it. So let's do it together. And then we will come back and you can comment on this post, or maybe I'll make another video. We can talk about it. But yes, girl, let's get to manifesting for 2026, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.